Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get it on!
Come into the ring, step into the fire, see what you want, baby. If your heart has desire, and get out, get knocked down. Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast.
Good evening, everyone, and you're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. My guest at this time, he is the Psycho Shooter. He is the Tournament of Death champion. He's a king of the death matches. Drake fucking Younger. How you doing, buddy? I kind of got that.
Man, I'm doing incredibly well. Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Russell. So, for a moment, I thought you were going to say I was king. For a moment, I thought you were going to say I was king of the ring. I was like, I haven't won that one.
No. King of the Ring. Yeah, that's WrestleMania or something. I don't know. But anyway, how you doing? Pretty good.
I'm great, man. Great.
Yeah, it's a busy week in LA this weekend for WrestleMania weekend. My God, like, you believe that it's actually here now? Like, the season came so quick for WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's incredible what, not just WrestleMania, but the entire week has become. It's become its own. It's becoming a happening in and of itself. Just the week and the WrestleCons and all the
WrestleCon. Yes, and as we speak, I think this weekend we're from your proteges and your friend, your guys of the XPW roster are over there representing, and with Rob Black himself, and
XPW's at WrestleCon. Yeah, and it's a great opportunity for all the independent guys to be able to get a chance to be seen by some eyes that they wouldn't normally have the opportunity to be seen by. So yeah, man, it's really cool. It's exciting.
I mean, I remember going to WrestleCon when I was a kid, like just going to like those cons, WrestleCons, and just it's a fun night out, like in Philadelphia or like in Pennsylvania, anywhere, like just going to a wrestling convention is awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, you see stars new and old, people that you love growing up, people that you love to hate growing up. So it's the best of everything. It's kind of a big reunion. Those are fun.
Now, if you were to go back as a kid and looking back in your collection of like favorite autographs, who would be your favorite one that you got an autograph of at a convention?
My favorite one, I think would be, I got an autograph from Sting, but it was very special because it was like in the middle, like very early 97, like Crow Sting. He had already signed on to do an appearance at a Monster Truck World of Wheels convention in Indianapolis, where I was growing up. And this was before he had done the new character. And so he was already committed to it. So it's like, this is in the middle of the Crow Sting, and he's like doing an appearance, like talking to us and everything. Like it was really cool. So that was my favorite because I remember waiting in line for hours with my dad.
Yeah.
And, just the excitement of finally being up to that line and getting to meet Sting and just wondering what I was going to say to him. And if I was going to sound, you know what I mean? It was really cool.
That's like me when I met Bruno Sammartino or Terry Funk and, Harley Race, like that was like, those would be my top faves and of course, Mick Foley, because you see him everywhere though,
Sure.
But yeah, man, times has changed and the prices are skyrocket these days for an autograph. I remember, but you know what? That's about business, man. And the higher up they are, and we know how that is. They just get a day's pay for making an appearance,
Yes, sir. Yep.
But yeah, growing up, man, conventions weren't really a thing. We really never had that. We would go to the shows, independent shows, and see like Iron Sheik or King Kong Bundy to, like your Stan Hansen to, just like these standout wrestlers that would never get noticed,
Yeah, I remember like Access. First time I remember hearing something like that. The fan access was WrestleMania 8, actually, Indianapolis, where I went. So that was the first time I remember hearing about it, and it's become a tradition ever since.
It has.
Yep.
growing up watching wrestling, who were your faves of all time?
Well, I mean, early on, Hulk Hogan. I mean, I was a red and yellow Hulkamaniac. You know, said my prayers, ate my vitamins. Then in the mid '90s, it more so turned towards Bret Hart. I appreciated the more technical aspect of wrestling at that time. And then I'd say '95 is when I fell in love with Sabu and ECW in that style.
Yeah,
which kind of led to what I'm at today.
Yes, ECW was the big marketing point, big point for a lot of the guys, as yourself. You look back at these guys and holy shit, you know what? I think I'm going to be like him one day. Like just get in the ring and train and, just mimic, but you didn't want to do their moves. You wanted your own style, What do you got into the business?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And like, what is it? And how you, as you were younger, I mean, you took your steps into the wrestling ring to a lot of promotions that at a young age, Drake. Like you really stepped, and you're proud, to be in a ring with like Chris Hero to Eddie Kingston to the Necro Butcher. Till this day, we still know Rick Necro's doing awesome as always.
Yeah. And so for me at that time, I knew that I really had to take a chance and just go to as many places that I could possibly be seen. So, first initial goal was IWA Mid-South, and then
yes,
I did well there, and that led to Combat Zone Wrestling, and then I wanted to go international, so I went to Germany and eventually Japan, and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and then to WWE, and now it's coming full circle, and this last
XPW,
part of my career,
yes.
I'm really enjoying this run with XPW.
Yeah, because it's something special. It's very special.
Absolutely, that's my favorite place I've ever worked. I love it.
I mean, as a kid, Rob tells this to everybody, and DVDs were so popular. That's how we got hooked. We got hooked on those DVDs at the $5 bins, $10 bins at the Suncoast or the Crazy Joe's or the stupid whatever. Any kind of store that had all the DVD bins.
Sure.
And XPW was right there next to like the 3PW DVDs.
Yeah, I even remember having XPW VHSs.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's the real collector's item. But then you started watching, you're like, holy watch the series. It's like, oh man, this is something different. And we will, like the aspect of it and how the crowd interacts and just the way that you got the wrestlers are just. Back then, it was really just like hardcore. They were just going balls to the walls. And we're looking. We would look back at like the New Jack and the Vic Grimm's crazy ladder like table match. Like, could you imagine that? But something's going to be happening soon. In California, something similar to that a little bit. 2 rings is going to be it's going to be a little bit interesting. I'm looking forward to that aspect of the XPW when they do the California 2.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's like, it's going to be.
So what do you want to talk about here for XPW? Yeah, I mean, do you have questions? We got Q&A. What do we got going on?
Anything you want to know, Drake? Anything you want? Shoot the shit. I love shoot.
Host. I'm the guest. Yeah.
Does it look like I have a list in front of me? No. I never prep for these. I just asked the simple questions.
All right, it shows.
All right. And like going back, what was your scariest incident of a death match? Like, what was your scariest moment?
Probably when I cut my nipple at Tournament of Death 2007. That was scary. Yeah, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. That's for sure.
Right. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, you look back. We look back.
It's tough day at the office when you go to work and you almost lose a nipple.
Absolutely, and you got to go. And you got to really go to work, and
sure.
And people are like, what's that scar from? Well, I can't tell you. That's the part about going to a hospital. Where you guys get stitched up. It's like, oh, can't tell you. Something different.
Right.
But growing up, did you goof around in your backyard with your friends? Of course, like how most kids grew up backyard
Oh
wrestling.
yeah, I mean late '90s, we were big time in the backyard wrestling. I mean everybody was. So
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of how we got started and got a buzz, for better or for worse, around the local scene, and then got invited to shows, and we would help set up the ring and stuff like that, and just kind of hang around afterwards, and that's how we got opportunities to be on these shows.
That's you pay your dues. Yep, you pay your dues.
That's it, man.
You got to pay your dues to
do it with a smile.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But looking back at your career, you've, like you said, you've had a long career, and we could go to cage matches, look at the whole list right now, and go back. Sure. It's like, I mean,
been a hell of a run.
It really has, and to be where you are today, it's like it feels good to see you back inside of a ring, because you know what, fans were like, "Where's Drake?" I'm sure he'll pop up eventually, but the timing is just different, timing is right for everybody, as they always say.
I think it was just the right time for everybody involved. I think everybody was
and to see that we engage in bringing talent from across the world.
That's the goal, man. I want to wrestle worldwide talent, and just since I've come back, I've been able to wrestle, guys from Canada, from the UK, from Mexico. So it's definitely exciting.
Yeah, and like you said, in your last promo, you were Arrow Boy. You guys tangled it up, back in the day, and that's awesome. That match must have been something special.
It was very special. It's definitely, it was just a few days ago, but it's definitely one of the highlights and favorite memories of my whole 21-year career. It was a match with Arrow Boy. Like I said, 15 years ago, him and I first wrestled. We were both young. He was a rookie, and so it's cool where he and I went off on separate paths within the wrestling business. But those paths, circled back to where we wound up back together. It happened to be at XPW. So it's really cool. And it's just an example of kind of like the beauty of professional wrestling. So, he doesn't speak English. I don't speak Spanish. And we have this like common bond and love that is pro wrestling, and specifically kind of the samurai blood and guts deathmatch style of pro wrestling. It's something we're good at and we're passionate about, and we take it serious. And we were able to kind of take that creative energy and that common love and be able to paint a picture that was, that the fans got to shut the world off for 20 minutes and just watch us do our thing. And it was a great time, man. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, and then you go back and Lou Nixon. My gosh, man, that guy was insane to wrestle. That guy was looked like his MMA style really took effect.
He's got a very bright future. He's also going to be in California. Arrow Boy will be there as well. But Lou Nixon, man, like I said, the sky's the limit for this kid. I've kind of dubbed him he reminds me of, he's like the Conor McGregor of death matches. So I think he just brings a different element and a different edge and a whole nother attraction when it comes to doing what we do.
Cool. We got people are saying hello here. Hey, cool. Oh, hey.
People are saying
what's
hello,
up, guys?
Cool, man. Yeah.
Ask questions, people. Feel free anytime. Pop in the comments,
Yeah, I mean, you got me for another 15 minutes or so. So, yeah, might as well ask away.
But anyway, Drake, go back and to your days of CZW. That was before my time as well. I never got into I never did get into CZW until was it like the Cage of Death 16 or 15, not after that, right when I saw you at your introduction, I really got full-blown interested in the scene of CZW.
When I got inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Yeah. So CZW at the time, incredibly special, and the crew there, we had a really close bond. I'll say like that 2007 to 2011 crew was really, really special. So, I mean, any given show, you'll have myself, you have Sammy Callahan, you got John Moxley, Nick Gage,
Masada,
Masada, JC Bailey, you got
yeah.
Ruckus, you
Danny.
got AR Fox, Ricochet,
Danny Havoc.
Danny Havoc. Oh my gosh, yeah, but Brain Damage. I mean, the list goes on and on. Just a stacked roster.
What was it like? Let me ask you this.
Ego Fantastico. I mean, every single night, Adam Cole. I mean, every single week we were going out there wanting to have the absolute best matches that we possibly can. Everybody's trying to have the best match on the show and steal the show. And we wanted to, show the world that, we're CZF and W. Like we felt like we were, especially because during that time we started traveling globally as well. Going to Japan and going to Europe and going these other places. Yeah,
I'll tell you,
we had like CZW track jackets. We had like the black and yellow track jackets. So we were traveling around. We were like a team, right? And the way me and Danny Havoc at the time, what we dubbed ourselves as CZW at the time, we said that we were a deathmatch rock and roll gang, right? Yeah. So like we're like a rock band, right? We don't play music. The music, the art form that we have is pro wrestling, right? We use the ring, that's our canvas. And rock and roll, we were living lives like rock stars, right? Traveling the world, and then we're like a gang. You know what I mean? We're not a brotherhood, we're gang.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Let me ask
five in that era of CZW.
Yeah, let me ask you this, man. Working to like Brain Damage. What was that like, man? Like he must have been
awesome. Some of my best matches, I will say, they were incredibly painful. They hurt really bad, but they were always good. Always good. And Brain Damage, Marvin, he was a sweet guy. Always took care of everybody else, and had really ahead of his time. He really had a presence about him when the red light was on. Again, he was very intimidating. He stood out from the time. And
he was like a big dude. He was like a big dude.
During this era, this is when like the Ultimate Fighter and everything was really popular. So there was this almost big call on the indies around the time to like really tighten up the stiffness factor, right? And so Brain Damage got that call and exceeded that expectation. Because he was knocking our blocks off every week, but it was good TV. It was good stuff. You know what I mean? It sold DVDs. It was good. It got a buzz. You know what I mean? It just knocked a few years off my life. That's all. But no, I miss Marvin. He's a good dude.
Then you got to travel to Japan to wrestle, like Kobayashi, Kobayashi and Jun Kasai, and just like the list goes on and on.
I got to wrestle all the legends over there, man. That was an honor and a privilege. It was cool at the time to represent CZW as well.
Because you were young at the time, like you were just going to Japan. It's like, wow, okay,
it's like 25, 26.
I know you learned a new language. Really, like you had to learn the language. You're like, oh man, this is okay.
Yeah. Right. And it was cool too because I got the I like lived over there for a while. Like there was like I would stay over there like 6 weeks at a time, and then 4 weeks at a time. 2 weeks at a time. So I got kind of accustomed to almost like a system there.
Yeah, and then trying to getting used to the food and just
Oh, I loved it.
But then you would go down to Mr. Danger's once in a while and
get a nice. I often say if I hadn't been married and had children, I would have just lived over there.
Yeah, because you had that itch to stay. Yeah, that's a place. Yeah,
I love the culture over there. I love the style of wrestling. I love it all.
Yeah, but now that DDT, they're all doing. BJW is doing awesome. Everybody's just it's like a new breed now. It's a new with the old, mixing it up, which is awesome. Then like your experience going to Germany, that's pretty cool for like when CZW you're going to Germany, and just like wow, this
Yeah, I got a chance. I went to Germany, dozens of times for WXW,
Mhm.
and it was cool because I would go into like their 16 karat tournaments and wrestle like their big technical badass
Mhm.
guys, right? And I was like the deathmatch guy, so I was like proud to represent like the
Mhm.
deathmatch brotherhood and go into those matches with Shingo or Brian Danielson or whoever I was wrestling.
Mhm. That's awesome, Drake.
Yeah,
And now go back, and I think I never, I told you this way back, and when I showed you that one picture of you at Jersey All Pro Wrestling, that was the first time we met. You remember that?
oh yeah,
That was crazy. I think that was you and Nick Gage. I believe that was a first
that's
like battle.
right.
If I go back, I looked at that. I'm like, yeah, that was the night that Gage was there, like a CZW,
right.
because Larry was on the mic, I believe, too.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Oh yeah, it was the
Crazy.
CZW showcase.
It was, man. And back then you were really like, you weren't fit, but you're just right, But now you're
Yep.
a machine. You're a machine now,
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Yes, but let me ask you this, Drake. Worst experience with a fan heckling you? Ooh, I like a fan.
You know what, man? I haven't really had anything.
Back
Yeah.
back in the day, like a grandma yelling, you buck
No,
up
man.
to,
I haven't had anything. When I was at WWE, and it wasn't so much with me, but like sometimes the fans get hotel rooms and hotel lobbies when they would wait for the guys. That's a little off
yes,
base. That's a little off base because that's like if you're getting in like the hotel and that's like their house. That's where they're living while they're on the road. So like you're at
That's
now
it's
you're
like,
like
yeah,
it's like I wouldn't show up on your front lawn and ask you to take a picture or sign this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yeah.
yes, like that thing that's still going on to this day at the airports. Wrestlers get it and take. Come on, could you take my picture? And come on, like.
But at
just let
least
them go.
airports, I kind of have to get it because that's like for the public. But a hotel, that's somebody's house, man.
No, you don't. Yeah, I know. You're probably like, yeah, all right, go away. I don't want to be bothered. It's yeah, but no, it's but that was back in, and you actually, one of my friends was the ref at the time. His name was Eddie Orange.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie from Jersey All Pro as well as Bandito.
Oh yeah.
That was, and Bennett, Ref Bennett.
Oh yeah.
Three, and plus you, of course.
Sure.
Can't leave you. You had your experience, and you got to see people that try their level. At
right.
That, which was, but then you said, "All right, this isn't for me. I'm going home."
That's it, man.
That's about it, Drake.
Cool.
What do you think about? Oh man, we got California coming up, man. Are you ready for that?
Dude, I'm pumped, man. I think for me, it's going to be the culmination of what many are saying the greatest comeback and definitely in deathmatch wrestling history. So I'm excited to fulfill that legacy. Having the time of my life at XPW. Would appreciate the support if you get pick up my brand new t-shirts at thexpwwrestling.com. You can buy my t-shirts, 8x10s, order replays of past events as well. So yeah, man, California is going to be incredibly exciting. Follow me on IG. You see right there my handles. So thank you guys.
Kid's gone.
Appreciate you having me on, Russell.
And then after California, come back to the East Coast again in May. My gosh, I'll see you there.
Yeah, that's it, man. So always love coming back to Wrestling Jersey.
Yeah. Have a good night, Drake, and until next time.
Thanks, Russell. Take care, buddy.
Yep. Have a good night. All right, fans, you heard it from Drake. He is ready for California 2 as he represents, he's the psycho shooter. What's possible for Drake Younger? You don't know. And, all the guys in the competition for California 2. I should just pop up. I don't have the flyer in front of me, but fans, get out to XPW and check it out. It's going to be a killer show, and that's coming up in April. and catch all the XPW events on their on the platform, and use my promo code right there on the screen to for the next upcoming pay-per-view for California and others as well. And fans, buy yourself a t-shirt, like Drake said, buy his shirt, buy some XPW merch. Check out thexpwwrestling.com. Man, you don't know what XPW has coming next. Stay tuned. Good night, everybody. Till next time on the Deathmatch Russell podcast.
For more Deathmatch Russell podcast interviews, follow on social media at Facebook at Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Twitter at DavidNewJersey32, Instagram at DavidNJ36, YouTube channel David C. Russell, website at DeathmatchRussellPod.com. Visit BrainbusterTees.com for Deathmatch Russell podcast merchandise. Follow XPW Wrestling at www.thexpwwrestling.com. Also check out WrestlingWithJohners.com. Just hit the like button and share.